Visual. Slow pan across ancient olive grove at golden hour, gnarled trunks, silver leaves shimmering. The olive tree, twisted roots, silver green leaves, and a story older than empires. For over 6,000 years, this humble tree has shaped civilizations from the shores of the Mediterranean to the heart of ancient empires. In Greece, it was a sacred gift from Athena. In Rome, a symbol of victory and peace. Across the Middle East, it became a source of life, nourishing, healing, and binding communities together. In today's video, we'll journey deep into the history of the olive tree, uncover its timeless role in culture, religion, and daily life, and reveal why it still stands today as a living symbol of wisdom, endurance, and peace. Title card: The Olive Tree, a 6,000-year legacy. Chapter 1: The Birth of Cultivation. Visual: map animation showing the Mediterranean basin, Levant region. Our story begins not in a palace or temple, but in the rugged hills of the eastern Mediterranean, somewhere between modern-day Syria, Turkey, and the Levant, around 4000 BCE. Here, our ancestors made a discovery that would change the course of human history. Visual: archaeological site footage, ancient pottery with olive oil residue. Wild olive trees had existed for millennia, but someone, we'll never know who, figured out how to cultivate them. They learned to graft wild branches onto domesticated rootstock, creating trees that produced larger, oil-rich fruits. This wasn't just agriculture. This was transformation. From these origins, olive cultivation spread like ripples across water, to Crete, to Greece, to North Africa, to Iberia. By 3000 BCE, the Minoans on Crete had built an entire economy around olive oil. Massive clay jars, called pithoi, stored thousands of gallons. Olive oil became currency, a commodity so valuable it funded palaces and fleets. The Mycenaeans kept meticulous records in Linear B script, documenting olive oil production, distribution, and trade. This wasn't just food, it was wealth, power, and survival distilled into liquid gold. Chapter 2: Athena's Gift. But for the ancient Greeks, the olive tree was more than economics. It was divine. According to myth, the gods Athena and Poseidon competed for patronage of a great city. Poseidon struck the ground with his trident, creating a saltwater spring. Athena struck her spear into the earth, and an olive tree sprouted, offering food, oil, wood, and shade. The people chose Athena, and the city became Athens. The olive became sacred to Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. Olympic victors were crowned with wreaths of wild olive branches, cut from a sacred tree near her temple. To harm an olive tree in Athens was a crime punishable by exile or death. Olive oil illuminated Greek homes, fueled their lamps through long Mediterranean nights. It anointed athletes before competition, making their skin glisten, their muscles supple. It was rubbed into the skin after bathing at the gymnasium. The very word gymnasium comes from gymnos, meaning naked, and those naked athletes were slathered in olive oil. In Greek symposia, philosophers debated under the light of olive oil lamps. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, their words were preserved in scrolls sealed with olive oil-based inks. The olive tree wasn't just part of Greek culture, it was the foundation. Chapter 3: Roman Expansion. Where Greece made the olive sacred, Rome made it systematic. As Roman legions conquered the Mediterranean, they brought olive cultivation to every province: Spain, France, North Africa, the Balkans. Roman agricultural writers like Cato the Elder and Columella wrote detailed treatises on olive cultivation, pressing techniques, and storage methods. The Romans engineered massive olive presses, using lever and screw technology to extract every precious drop. They established vast plantation estates called latifundia, worked by enslaved people, producing olive oil on an industrial scale. This oil traveled in clay amphorae across the empire. Millions of these vessels filled Roman cargo ships, creating underwater archaeological sites that still tell stories today. In Rome itself, broken amphorae were piled so high they formed a mountain, Monte Testaccio, made entirely of discarded olive oil containers. The olive branch became Rome's symbol of peace and victory. Triumphant generals carried olive branches in their victory parades. When Rome wanted to signal peaceful intentions, envoys bore olive branches. This symbol, born in Greece, became universal through Roman power. Chapter 4. Sacred Trees. But perhaps nowhere did the olive tree hold more profound meaning than in the spiritual traditions of the Mediterranean and Middle East. In Jewish tradition, the olive branch appears at a pivotal moment. After the Great Flood, Noah's dove returns with an olive leaf, the first sign that life has returned to earth, that God's wrath has passed, that hope survives. The sacred menorah in Jerusalem's temple burned with pure olive oil. The miracle of Hanukkah celebrates oil that should have lasted 1 day, but burnt for 8. Olive oil, keeping the divine light alive. In Christian tradition, Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, its very name meaning oil press in Aramaic. Some olive trees still standing there may have witnessed that night 2,000 years ago. Olive trees can live for millennia, silent witnesses to human history. The Quran describes the olive as a blessed tree, neither of the east nor the west, whose oil would almost glow even without fire touching it. A metaphor for divine guidance illuminating the path. Across 3 Abrahamic faiths, the olive became a bridge between human and divine, used in anointing rituals, blessed in prayers, cultivated in monastery gardens and mosque courtyards. This single tree united diverse traditions in reverence. Chapter 5. Daily Life and Medicine. Beyond temples and texts, the olive tree shaped daily existence in profoundly practical ways. Olive oil was the foundation of Mediterranean cuisine. It preserved fish, vegetables, and cheese. It made bread palatable, transformed simple ingredients into feasts. The Mediterranean diet, celebrated today for its health benefits, has been built on olive oil for 6 millennia. Ancient physicians recognized olive oil's healing properties. Hippocrates called it the great therapeutic. Greek and Roman doctors prescribed it for wounds, burns, digestive ailments, and skin conditions. Modern science has confirmed what they knew intuitively. Olive oil contains powerful antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. Olive oil soap emerged in the Levant, particularly in Aleppo and Nablus, creating cleansing bars that were gentle and effective. Cleopatra allegedly used olive oil in her legendary beauty regimens. It was the base for perfumes, unguents, and skin treatments across the ancient world. Even the wood was treasured. Dense, beautifully grained, and naturally antibacterial, olive wood was carved into utensils, boxes, and religious artifacts. Every part of the tree served humanity. Chapter 6. Enduring Legacy. Today, olive trees still cover Mediterranean hillsides, as they have for 60 centuries. Some ancient trees, their trunks hollowed and twisted by time, continue producing fruit after 2,000 years of growth. Global olive oil production exceeds 3 million tons annually. Spain, Italy, Greece, and Tunisia lead production, but olives now grow on 6 continents. The techniques may have modernized, but the essential process, cultivating, harvesting, pressing, remains remarkably similar to methods used in ancient Crete. The olive branch endures as our most universal symbol of peace. The United Nations emblem surrounds the world with olive branches. Peace agreements are still described as extending an olive branch. From ancient Rome to modern diplomacy, this symbol transcends languages and cultures. But perhaps the olive's greatest legacy is simply its presence. These trees connect us to our ancestors in ways few living things can. When you taste olive oil from a centuries-old grove, you're experiencing something fundamentally unchanged since before Rome fell, before Christ walked the earth, before Homer sang of Troy. The olive tree teaches patience. It takes years to mature and decades to reach full production. It teaches resilience, surviving drought, poor soil, and harsh Mediterranean summers. It teaches generosity, providing sustenance, healing, and beauty for generations. Twisted roots digging deep into ancient soil. Silver green leaves catching the light. And a story that continues, chapter after chapter, through empires risen and fallen, through faith it's born and evolved, through 6,000 years of human civilization. The olive tree stands as witness, as provider, as symbol, a reminder that some things endure not through force, but through giving, not through conquest, but through cultivation, not through power, but through peace. If you enjoyed this journey through history, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the world around us. What ancient symbol or tradition should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, may your roots grow deep and your branches reach toward the light.